About what, guys? How to interact with the SQL, MySQL and Oracle database softwares by having loose coupling. When I change one database to another database, I need not to modify the source code, right? This is what we discussed in other day session. iCloud 9 end task. Right. Today, let's see mini project discussions are over. We got idea what is layered application, right? Yeah, I asked you to submit the task. That's why people have not come. Huh? How many days you will escape like this, right? Will you escape from every situation like this? Fine, your karma. I'll tell them I have not checked, boss, and I'm not going to check also. Spring here. Yes. What's your batch code? 915. What is there? Spring Boot Core. Online student, please check your audio and video. Yeah.
This meeting is being recorded.
Siva, no problem, ra. I have a common sense. I don't misunderstand you. Okay. Yeah. There is this making the project MySQL. I think there is something called Moron data sources. Call someone. Video is not coming. Yeah. Moron data source auto configuration, guys. Moron data source auto configuration. వీడియో రావట్లే చెక్ చేయ ఇది కాదు వాళ్ళకి ఫోన్ చేసి చెప్పు మోరాన్ డేటా సోర్స్ ఆటో కాన్ఫిగరేషన్స్ ఓకే ఐల్ కమ్ టు దిస్ వన్ ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ లెట్ మీ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ when you add some starter some classes are automatically becoming spring beans. Come on guys. Okay, how does it is knowing? We are adding so many jars. So many jars are having so many classes, right? But all the classes are becoming Spring Bean. Only few classes are becoming Spring Bean. Then how does it is recognizing only these classes I should make them as what? Spring Bean. Not the other classes. Not at all the other classes. How does it knows? How strongly it knows? These are the only classes I should make them as what? Spring Bean. Not the remaining classes, right? For that one, it will follow some process, guys. It will follow some process. First, we'll try to understand that process. Then we will talk more on what? Data source auto configuration activities. No, boss, I'm talking about Kishore, I'm talking about auto configuration related Spring Beans. Okay. See, we are adding so many starters. So many starters are having so many jars. So many jars are having so many classes. Does it making every class of every jar as Spring Bean through auto configuration? No. It is making specific classes only, na? From where it is getting those specific classes information? Okay, from where? Somewhere it might be getting it, na boss? Yes, that is what we are going to discuss today. First point is that, then remaining discussions, guys. How does @enable auto configuration annotation of Spring Boot application knows which classes of currently added jar file should be configured as what? Spring Beans. Through auto configuration process. What process, guys? Okay, there is some process involved in that, guys. IOC container, as part of application startup IOC container created, na, it looks for a file called spring.factories. What dot factories? Though in all the jars that are added to class path, and it somehow it finds in which place? Spring boot auto configure version dot jar. That file is internally linked with another file. What is that file name? meta-nf/spring/. These are the folders. Auto configuration dot imports. What is there? Auto configuration dot imports. Are you getting my point there, guys? This file contains all configuration classes that needs to be executed for auto configuration. This nearly 144 configuration classes are there. If you open those 144 configuration classes, lot of sub configuration, nested configuration classes will be there. In those classes, lot of @bean methods will be there or not there. In that one, @bean methods will be there or not there, guys. All these configuration classes and their nested and imported configuration classes related @bean methods execute to get objects of Java classes as Spring Beans through auto configuration activity. What activity, guys? Simply through what? Auto configuration activity. Simply, literally through what? Auto configuration activity. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Come on, everyone. Okay. Yeah. First you feel that one practically, then we'll see. I think we are using this Eclipse IDE. What's your batch code? 915. Launch it. Mailing notes records are not available in the shared drive. Array, last Sunday class not happened because of admin mistake, right? Okay. But this Saturday, 7 a.m., same class will be conducted. This Saturday, 7 a.m. Not morning only. It is, don't say early morning, just morning only. Early morning means 4 a.m. 7 a.m. you have other classes? Any other classes 7 a.m.? అర్థం కాలేదు. 9 you have regular class you are asking. That day no 9 o'clock class. Only 7 a.m. class will be there. You want 9 a.m. class also? Why you don't want classes? Okay, that day only one session. That is what? 7 a.m. session. Okay, right. So this Saturday that Java Spring Boot mail class will be conducted. So not exactly 7 guys, 7:15 a.m. But the session will be in the ground floor. Ground floor room number, I don't know room numbers. Ground floor, whichever bigger room, that room, guys. Okay. Saturday 7 a.m. Common topic Spring Boot mail. So till that day, regular classes at 9 a.m. only. So let's come back to the subject, guys. I was talking about this only. Okay, good. Let's look at everyone focus. Event dependencies. Where is this? Spring Boot auto configure. Where is this? Spring Boot auto configure. Can you check that? Spring Boot auto configure, right? Where? Spring Boot auto configure is there. Okay, there so many packages, guys. In that one, MetaNF is there. Here, Spring Dot Practice is there. This Spring Dot Factory is linked with the Spring slash some imports file. This is a file. It is not package. File name itself very lengthy name. In that one, lot of configuration classes are there. Say something, my dear. Come on, everyone. Multiple configuration classes are there or not there? In a series, it's viable. What is this? Lot of configuration classes are. These are not Spring Bean class. These are configuration. For example, you take, there is a configuration class called data source auto configuration. What is there? Data source auto configuration. There are not there, guys. Okay, boss. Data source auto configuration. Copy this class name. Copy this class name. Where is that? Where is that, guys? Control plus Shift plus T. Say paste. Data source auto configuration. Come on. Here is my what? Data source auto configuration. And it is linked with other configuration classes by using @import. It is also having nested configuration classes. Nested. Okay, inner classes. These nested classes are again linked with other configuration classes. In that one, Hikari.class is there, boss. Click on F3. So in Hikari configuration class, there is a @bean method creating and returning data source object, my dear. In that process, it is trying to collect the keys from what? Spring dot data source dot Hikari or not, boss? Okay. Spring dot SR. From these keys, it is trying to get the content or not, my dear? Okay, now similarly, you go to Tomcat dot class. What dot class, guys? Comcat. F3. So here also we are having @bean method. What method? Creating and returning Tomcat CP related data source object. Like this, all these @bean methods will execute and they try to become Spring Beans or not, guys? At least now you got the idea how things are happening through auto configuration. This much hangama is there. It gets all the configuration classes that are available in the given jars. Try to execute @bean methods of those configuration classes directly, indirectly. those at the rate bean method returned objects automatically become Spring Beans or not, guys? Just have a look on this. Just have a look on this. The enable auto configuration annotation searches for spring.factories file in meta.inf folders of all the jar files added to the class path, but finds in spring-boot-auto configuration-version.jar file. What dot jar file, guys? Version.jar file. This file internally linked with what? Another file called meta.inf/spring/auto configuration.import file. This file contains all configuration classes that needs to be executed for auto configuration activity. 144 classes are there, which version to version that will change. All these configuration classes, they're nested and imported configuration classes related at the rate bean method execute to get the objects of Java class as Spring Bean through auto configuration activity. Through auto configuration activity. Are you getting my point there, guys? Come on, everyone. Simply through auto configuration activity. Yeah. Listen, guys, sample class name. Data source auto configuration is there. Inside that, it is linked with the Hikari auto configuration, Hikari class. Inside the Hikari, at the rate bean method is there, creating and returning data source object. Like these things are, objects are becoming Spring Bean through auto configuration activity. I hope you convinced, boss. This is the reason, though so many jars, in those jars, so many classes, every class is not becoming what? Spring Bean. Only those classes whose objects are created and written in at the rate bean methods of these auto configuration classes are becoming Spring Beans by default as part of auto configuration activity. Convinced or not, guys? Okay, one more scenario, guys. One more class is what? JDBC template auto configuration. That is linked with what? JDBC template configuration. JDBC template configuration is having at the rate bean method to create and return. Okay, to create and return JDBC template class object as Spring Bean or not, guys? To create and return JDBC template class object as Spring Bean or not, my dear? Come on, my dear. I want reply, my dear. Okay, guys. Short answer for interview. At the rate enable auto configuration searches for what? Spring dot factories. What dot factories? In meta.inf folder of all the jar files and gets from spring-boot-auto configuration-version.jar file. This gets all the configuration classes to participate in what? Auto configuration from the file meta.inf/spring/auto configuration.imports. Auto configuration.imports and executes all at the rate bean methods of what? Given configuration class and their nested import configuration classes. Nested import configuration classes. These at the rate bean methods returned objects become what? Spring Bean automatically. This is called auto configuration of Spring Beans. This is technically called as what? Auto configuration of Spring Bean. I hope you understood, guys. Other day we have seen the Hikari data source has become Spring Bean now, my dear. How does it is becoming Spring Bean? Through this process. Not only Hikari data source, guys. When you add Spring Data JDBC, JDBC template, named parameter JDBC template, Hikari data source, and multiple other classes become Spring Bean, guys. How they are identified in this process? They are identified. They are simply literally identified in this process or not, guys? Okay. Sir, by default, we are getting Hikari data source object as a data source. But Hikari data source is the only data source available in the market, or many other options are there? Definitely multiple other options are there, no doubt in that. Definitely multiple other options are there, no second thought in that, right? Okay. Spring Boot 3.x, 2.x uses following algorithm while creating what? Data source object through what? Auto configuration process. When relevant starters or jar files are what? Added. When relevant starters are what? Jar files are added, guys. Spring Boot starter JDBC, Spring Boot starter JPA. Are you getting my point, guys? Spring Boot starter JDBC, Spring Boot starter JPA. Yeah, first one, what is this? Hikari CP data source. Second priority in 2.x, this is the algorithm, guys. Come on. First priority to Hikari CP. Second priority to Hikari Tomcat CP. If Hikari CP jars are not available. Third priority to Apache DBCP, and it will make data source as auto configuration Spring Bean in this following priority order. Hikari CP, Tomcat CP jars are not there. Apache DBCP. Okay, if all the three jars are not there, it will try to use what? Oracle UCP. Oracle UCP is nothing but what? Universal connection pool. These are there in part of algorithm, guys. These are the list of jars that are there or not there. These are the list of jar files that are there or not there, guys. Come on, everyone. These are the list of jar files that are available or not. Yeah, there are various data sources, boss. Various data sources. If you add dependency in pom.xml, not using dependency will create Spring Bean. Yes. When you add jar file, using, not using is up to IOC container. Na? How can you say not using? You added means you are asking to use. It definitely makes every class as Spring Bean, guys. Whatever there in the list of @bean method. Those beans we use we don't use that's our choice, right? So, Mr. Vipul, you added a jar file means where is the question of using, not using? No question of using, not using. You added jar file means what? You are asking application, take it and use it. Are you getting my point? Then it takes more time if file has more dependencies. Why it will take? Why it will take more time, waste fellow? Adding jar files is happening during project development, right? Then how does it takes time? And moreover, does it making every jar, every class as Spring Bean? No. Only those classes that are there in configuration class in @bean method. Only those methods, returned objects are becoming Spring Beans or not, guys? Only those methods returned objects are becoming Spring Bean or not, guys? Okay, boss. Yeah. This is our project, guys. Okay, how to feel which data source it is using by default? Hikari data source. What is the guarantee it is using Hikari data source? Okay. If you add two database, Hikari C3P0 starter, which will be used, Nilesh Power. First question, first point is Hikari CP C3P0 are not databases. Waste fellow. Oracle, MySQL are the databases. Without knowing that, you are showing intelligence in the chat box. Database are Oracle, MySQL, C3P0, Hikari CP. Muddy fellow, dirty fellow. Who asked to analyze in this bad way? You don't analyze, I don't mind, but don't do this kind of blunders. C3P0, Hikari CP, these are data sources pointing to connection pole. Okay, I already said. If you add multiple jars, first priority to Hikari CP. If that jar is not there, Tomcat CP. If that jar is not there, Apache DBCP2. If all the three jars are not there, what is that? Oracle UCP. Come on, guys. If all the jars are not there, then what is the one? Oracle UCP is the one you have to use now, my dear. Okay. Oracle UCP or not, guys? Come on, everyone, getting my point? C3P0 is not part of algorithm list, so that never executes. So in between Hikari CP, C3P0, which one will execute? Hikari CP. Okay, Shiva Shankar, everyday fresh day Nara Babu. Hikari CP is industry standard. I have given question and answer also. Yes or no, na? Because its performance is great. Shiva Shankar, please be in the classes, Ra. Did I not discuss Hikari CP is the most popular, though other data sources are there? Then you may ask me, why are you teaching other one? Are one, two companies don't want to use Hikari CP, they want to use other one. So further provision should be there or not there, guys. That's why I'm teaching that algorithm and how to work with other data sources. First of all, let me prove. Okay, by default, if nothing is done, it is giving what? Hikari data source through auto configuration activity. What activity? Hikari data source through auto configuration activity. Clear, my dear? Got it? Yeah. Yeah. Go to the project, guys. Nice. Here is my what? DAO, my dear. Here is my what? Oracle DAO IMPL. Oracle DAO IMPL. That's great. Here, data source. Okay, let me print in next one. Sys out. Data source object class name. Data source object class name. ds dot get class. What dot get class, my dear? ds dot get class. Data source object class name, that is ds dot get class. Everyone getting my point there, guys? Yes. This is my com.nt. This is my what? Com.nt. That's great. Boot IOC pros DI mini project application dot Java, right? Okay. I will run the project now. Run as Java application. Rajesh, designation is clerk, 9010. Okay, designation 1, manager. Okay, what is there? Salesman. Right now we are not bothered about outputs, Ra Babu. We are bothered about data source object class name. Where I am printing, Ra? Where? I'm not seeing, you are seeing, huh? Line number? Achha, at the end it is coming, huh? Where, Ra? I'm not seeing. There, Ra. Why employee number 8? What the hell you are talking? Acha, this one, Rabab. No, I'm printing class name. Why it is not coming? TS dot class name. MySQL. Maybe I have kept in what? Oracle DAO. And it is now pointing to what? MySQL DAO. Wait a minute. Where is saying employee number 8? I'm not getting. How does it related to employee number 8, Ra? Cut it. MySQL DAO IMPL. Say paste. Here is my ds.get class. Right click, run as Java application. Name, Kiran. Designation clerk. Salary 90,000, 10. Designation 1, clerk. What is there? Manager. Designation again, clerk. Okay, here you observe Hikari data source. By default, it is giving me Hikari data source or not. Okay, now if I remove the Hikari JS jar and if I add Tomcat CP jar, then Tomcat's related connection pool data source will come or not. But the problem is, are we adding Hikari CP jar separately in pom.xml? No, we have added Spring Data JDBC. We have added Spring Boot Starter JDBC as a relevant jar file. Hikari CP jar has come. I don't want to lose main jar file. Most of it's a dependent jar file, but I want to remove one dependent jar file. I want to remove only one dependent jar file. Are you getting my point there, guys? Okay. Everyone? Yeah, then what is the option we should use? Those are attending Maven classes in the evening should tell. I don't want to lose main and dependent. I just want to lose one of its dependent jar or one of its relevant jar. Everyone getting my point there, guys? Okay. Any option, boss? In Maven, we have option. Exclude. Exclude option is there now, boss. What is the easiest way of doing that? Go to dependency hierarchy. Search for Hikari CP jar. Right? Right click. Exclude Maven artifact. Say OK. Select. Okay, that's one done. It's been excluded, guys. Okay, now you observe in the dependency hierarchy, Hikari CP is visible or not visible. In list of jars that are coming here, list of jars that are coming here, right? In list of jars that are coming here, Hikari CP jar is there or not there? There or not there, guys? So you don't want to lose main and dependent. You want to lose only one dependent jar file. In that situation, it is very, very useful or not, guys? In that situation, it is really, really useful or not, my dear? Are you getting my point there, guys? Come on, everyone. Okay, this is how we have to think about the options. Hikari CP data source. Okay, I removed Hikari CP jar. Now I have to add Tomcat CP related jar. Okay, that is not there as a starter, boss. You have to collect from what? mvnrepository.com. What is there? mvnrepository.com. Here is what? What is there? Tomcat JDBC. Click on search. Here is my what? Tomcat JDBC 11.6. Copy this. .6, copy this. Okay, we have to add this one as a dependency here. We have to add this one as a dependency here, guys. Okay. We just need to add this one as a dependence. That's great. Right click, run as Java application. Enter employee name, Johnny. Designation clerk. Salary, this. Department number 30. What is the designation one? Clerk. Manager. What is there? Salesman. What is there, guys? Salesman. Employee details for given designations. Pooled data source. Tomcat.jdbc.pool.data source. What dot data source, guys? Pool.data source. It's happening or not happening, boss? Definitely taking place or not, guys? Okay, that's great. Okay. So Hikari CP jar not there, Tomcat CP jar is there. Okay, automatically it is picking up Tomcat CP. Okay, now I want to work with what? Apache DB CP2. Then I have to comment what? Hikari CP jar, Tomcat CP jar. Then I have to add Apache DB CP2 jar. Go to mvnrepository.com. Here I am writing, what is there? Apache DB CP2. What I'm writing? Apache DB CP2. Right, that's great. 2.13, that's another great thing. Here is what? This. I collected this, guys. I collected this. Here is my pom.xml. Okay. Hikari CP is already commented. Okay, now I am also commenting what? Tomcat CP. You may ask me if all four jars are there, which will work. Hikari CP will work. When Hikari CP not there, Tomcat CP. If both are not there, Apache DBC. If all of them are there, first priority anyhow Hikari CP. Right click, run as Java application. Same application, but let's see this time which data source it will use. Name, Suresh, number, designation clerk, Salary 89,000. 10. Okay. Designation. What is there? Clerk. Manager. What is there? President. It's happening or not, guys? Basic data source. DBCP to basic. This is what it is working or not, guys? No, I don't want this also, boss. Okay, Oracle UCP. Then we have to add Oracle UCP related jar or not there. Comment every other jar. Just add Oracle UCP dot jar. Here is my UCP search. Yeah, here we are having Oracle UCP, guys. Come on. Yeah, 2025 latest one. Select the latest version one. Copy this. Say paste. Copy this, say paste. Copy this, say paste. Then followed by that, what is there? Right click. Did I comment Apache DBCP2 jar? No. I need to comment Apache DBCP2 jar na, boss. Yes. Save this, guys. Right click. Run as Java application. Name Karan. Designation clerk. 9,000. Department number 10. What is the designation? One, clerk. What is there? Manager. What is there? Clerk. What is the output, guys? Pooled data source IMPL. What data source IMPL, guys? Pooled data source IMPL. Is coming or not coming, guys? Okay. Pooled data source IMPL, guys. Yes, guys. Pooled data source IMPL, but UCP dot JDBC dot. It is showing what? UCP dot. So I think we worked with all the algorithms, my dear. Okay, now my question is, I kept all the jars availability. Then which data source will execute? Hikari CP. And what is the industry standard? Hikari CP. Why? It's a performance and by default it is coming through auto configuration. And it's by default coming through what? If you place all four data source related dependencies at a time in Spring Boot application, then what happens? As per algorithm priority, the Hikari CP data source will be taken for what? Auto configuration. The industry standard data source having for JDBC connection pool is what? Hikari data source. JDBC API cannot be used to interact with what? NoSQL database software. It is purely given to interact with what? SQL database. These data sources are related to only SQL, guys. So now let's see. I'm trying to put what, guys? All the four things available. Now uncomment this Apache DBCP2, you are uncommenting. Next, Tomcat JDBC, you uncomment. You uncomment. No, all the four jars are there. When all four jars are there, but first priority will be given to Ikari CPU only, na my dear. Yes, boss. Right click, run as Java application. Name, Karan, designation clerk, salary 9,000, department 10. What is this? Clerk, manager, salesman. Manager, what is there, guys? Salesman. Jaxer.hikari.hikari data source. Jaxer.hikari.hikari data source. Are you getting my point there, guys? Come on. Okay. Are Shiv Shankar, I am saying only for knowledge sake. I said Hikari CP is industry standard. Where you keep your brain, Shiv Shankar? Compared to you, fifth class student is better sometime. After giving the statement industry standard, don't you understand all these are learning for subject sake? Shivashankar, I hope you completed engineering. I want some common sense should be shown. Why are you learning other thing? For knowledge sake, how to work with other data sources, right? But if chance is given, industry prefers working with what? Hikari data source. That's the most popularly used one, right? Few concepts we learn for interview. Few concepts we study for survival. These are the queries. These are taken purely for what, guys? His team leader gave him implement other data source. Okay. Kishore, no problem. For that also we have a solution. I don't want to use these data sources that are there in algorithm. I want to use some other data source. Okay, add that jar file and you write at the rate bean method manually. At the rate bean method manually, creating and returning the data source object. What is that? Creating and returning data source object. Okay, you add at the rate bean method separately. Okay, I want to work with the C3P0 boss, which is not there in algorithm, right? Which is not there in algorithm. What to do, boss? Okay, now listen carefully. I want to work with the C3P0. First of all, I should add C3P0 related jar file. Come on, guys. Let me add C3P0 related jar file. Let me search for C3P0. This is my C3P0 now, my dear. Come on. Okay. 0.10.2. Copy this. I added C3P0. Spring dot data source dot driver hyphen class hyphen name. Driver hyphen class hyphen name. ds dot set URL. Set JDBC URL. env dot get property. Spring dot data source dot URL. It's a URL, JDBC URL was. Go to application dot properties, guys. It's a URL. ds dot set user. env dot get property. Spring dot data source dot. What is there? Use. ds dot set password. env dot get property. Spring dot data source dot pass. Okay. I have a doubt. Don't use new keyword to HU loose coupling. Why are you using new keyword here? It is not like that, Ra. Because I want to make you predefined class as Spring Bean. What should I do? Who said new keyword is not used? Your own theory, that one. Vipul? Who said you should not use new keyword? Did I give any line anywhere? Show me. You assuming your own theories. Assuming your own theories. What can I do for that? In @bean method, you have to create object, right? No, it's not a doubt. Your wrong opinion on that. New keyword is nowhere else. If you want to make predefined class as Spring Bean, you have to create object. If needed, you can create object using new operator or by calling factory method. Here, no factory methods. That's why I'm using new operator. So Spring Boot is not against of new. You are assuming wrongly. That's it. That's the wrong assumption. Return what, guys? DS. Array algorithm data source algorithm gives Ikari data source. This is giving C3P0. Which one will dominate, sir? When clash comes between auto configuration and user defined. User defined will get the higher priority. Okay, this time this application runs with what? C3P0 data source or not, guys? Combo pooled data source or not, my dear? Yes. So let's see, guys. Right click, tell me, run as Java application. Right click, run as Java application. Enter employee name, Karan. Designation clerk. Salary 9,000. 10. Designation 1. What is their clerk? What is their manager? What is their salesman? Output is coming. It is working with the combo pooled data source. Nothing but C3P0, na, my dear. Combo pooled data source. Nothing but C3P0. What do you say, guys? It's seriously, literally dealing with what? C3P0. What do you say? It's happening or not, guys? Definitely happening, no doubt in that. Okay, that's great. Definitely taking place, no doubt in that. In 1.x, algorithm is different. At that time, Tomcat is bit popular. Tomcat, Hikari CP, Apache DBCP to Apache DBCP. But nowadays, no popularity for 1.x. Right now, 3.x. In 2.x and 3.x, Spring Boot algorithm is same. What is there? Algorithm is same. This is the one thing, guys. Okay. I want to break the algorithm. I want to break the algorithm to get all the Spring Beans. Here you observe. How to break the above algorithm? How can we use certain data source directly without following above algorithm? I don't want to follow any algorithm, but I should be in a position to use my choice data source. Very simple, guys. Make sure that relevant jar is available and write that data source class name in spring.datasource.type. What is there? Spring.datasource.type. Suppose if I write Tomcat CP data source class name, Tomcat CP will work without worrying about algorithm, guys. Okay, UCP class, UCP. C3P0 class, C3P0 data source. So let's see. Let's see, guys. I'm going to this place.